Anesthesiologist.
Neurosurgeon. Pharmacologist. Doctor.
Neurosurgeon.
A psychiatrist.
Doctor.
Doctor.
Forensic scientist.
Forensic psychologist.
A doctor.
Physicist.
Doctor.
And immunology and virology. Forensic scientist.
Science is an interesting topic. It covers many aspects of the intellectual world. I want to be a pharmacologist, which is basically a person who tests drugs on the body, so like cancer research.
You're always learning something new. It's exciting to discover new things working in the lab. I worked in an organic chem lab for 2 months, 8 hours a day. So I put in like 320 hours over the summer in a chem lab, cooking up the cure to cancer. What I really want to do is probably be involved in somehow in like the design or synthesis or something. It's a really big drug later on that's gonna like, I don't know what it's gonna do, but it's gonna be big. So I hope. So something along those lines.
Do as much research as you can about what you're interested in, so you don't completely just go into college blind on what thing in science you want to become.
Physics is the fundamental nature of the universe. We do science because we want to be the first to understand a new aspect of nature.
The living world. I like working with living organisms, animals, plants, bacteria, and so that's why I ended up in science.
Well, I've loved science since I was a little tiny kid, 4 years old, where I loved fish and sharks, and I talked about being an ichthyologist. Honestly, I've had an affinity for the natural world. I think that's where my love of science comes from.
When I was in graduate school, a lot of my research dealt with in vitro fertilization and nuclear transfer or cloning of cattle and goat embryos. And so I got to manipulate embryos. I got to take genetic material out and get new genetic material in.
For my PhD, I researched social spiders that live in big, huge colonies of hundreds of thousands of individuals. And I got to travel to Mexico to do that research, and it got published in National Geographic.
Well, I did a paper once looking at the issue of dinosaur warm-bloodedness. I based it on it's pretty much direct evidence regarding the type of parental care that they utilize.
My research has involved chaos. The most fun project was one involving the chaos of the weather. We found that with each significant figure in the measurements of initial temperature and wind speeds and such, each significant figure gives you 10 hours of meaningful weather prediction.
Well, the thing I've had the most fun with researching has probably been figuring out the mechanism by which proteins communicate with each other.
And I wondered what light is, because we see light as if it is something real. You can't hold light in your hand. There's something different about light.
Well, being a science teacher was something that I kind of fell into by accident, because when I was in graduate school, in order to get a stipend, that basically so I wouldn't starve, I had to teach the various courses for the zoology department. And I discovered that I was really, really good at it and that I enjoyed doing it. But up to that point, I had never really thought about teaching it at all. When I thought of my career was going to be all about doing the research, and teaching would be just something sort of on the side that I would have to do, but not something that I would really put any real focus on. But I found that I was really good at teaching, that I liked it in graduate school.
If you're interested, go for it. You don't have to go to the most elite school out there. You can get a really good education. It's all about what you put into it and in terms of what you get out. You can go to a great school and get a really poor education, or you can go to any school and get a really good education depending on how much work and effort you're interested in putting into it. And you can do it.
I would say that it's a wonderful career. It takes hard work, but that hard work pays off in that the career, I can't think of any scientific career that's not probably very fascinating and just, it's the kind of job where every day you love your work.
I would say that they should, as much as possible, think about becoming teachers as well as scientists, because jobs that relate to just research alone, that just involve research, very, very hard to come by. It's a lot easier to get a job if you've got some background, some experience in teaching. Just pure research jobs, oh, they're rare and they're heavily fought over. I mean, if you're not careful, you'll end up with a career that has nothing to do with science at all.
Be persistent, because there comes a point at which it is work, and you have to accept that you're going to have to do it. While it doesn't seem fun, you have to keep going. Just keeping faith that the fun does come back, but you do have to do serious, thankless work at certain points, not knowing why, just because it's the job. Afterwards, you find yourself deeply in love with it all again.